Jeez. Hopefully it'll freeze there. Hello, welcome to Hopeful Holler Mates. You know what I mean by freeze? Like if you're still long enough, they'll take a picture and that's what'll be used as the thumb tag. That's what I'm really hoping. Not that some other weird picture. So anywho, welcome to Hopeful Holler Makes, a podcast all about the fiber arts, knitting, spinning, weaving, embroidery, crochet, things such as that, deep thoughts, and Blue October. And sometimes a random appearance by my dog Sadie, who's at my feet, and she might just want to hop up here. So how are y'all? I'm looking down because I'm knitting. I need to knit in this podcast. Is that a cop-out? So I was listening to a podcast. Here I am just going into deep thoughts. Darn it. Okay, we'll start with knitting. I'll go deep thoughts. Or maybe I should just switch that around and go deep thoughts first. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down. Go. Good girl. Lay down. No. Lay down. Good girl. That's a good girl. Lay down. Good girl. Stay. Good girl. Okay, I'm going to leave that in there. That was 2 minutes. I'm going to leave that in there because it has to do with my deep thoughts and feeling scattered and unfocused. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and go with deep thoughts since we're already there. Then I'll go to knit. So, some of you may know, my name is Michelle, by the way. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time. I can sometimes, no, go lay down. Go. Good girl. That's a good girl. Okay. Instead of deleting all of that, I'm going to use that as my podcast, as part of the podcast, because that's something I was wanting to talk about, and that is giving our minds directions. Giving our anxious thoughts, if we have any. You might be subhuman, or I don't know. I don't know, but I think most of us humans have anxious thoughts, and especially during these times, I think that anxious thoughts are rampant. So, I would like to add my 2 cents to what I have found to be helpful with my own anxious thoughts. I was listening to a podcast where they were discussing the idea of how powerful our thoughts are and the words we say, and social media and how that's playing into this social experiment we've had these last several years with social media. And I have certainly been thinking about all that's going on in the world and how people are treating each other across the board, as I'm sure so many other people are too. And with all of that, my social media, my Instagram probably wouldn't reflect all of that depth. And I do that somewhat purposefully. So I have a little story to share about that. When we were going through some really trying times, and our daughter was in the hospital and my mom was dying with cancer, people would constantly, and sweetly so, ask, how everybody was doing. But one of the things I noticed in time is my thought pattern. Come here, baby. You want to sit my neck? Yep. My thought pattern would typically be on the sad things, the things that were not going right in my life, right as I saw them, right as I hoped that they would be different. And that just increasingly got frustrating to me. And not that people should stop asking about how, our loved ones are, of course, but I also had really fun and exciting, enjoyable things going on in my life too, that I was really, really grateful for and really appreciated, but felt weird about talking about because I had these other things going on that other people seemed more interested in. And in my head, all of this would just get very frustrating, and I would get annoyed, and not even necessarily with the other people. So my point to sharing all of this is, the rose and the thorn, like it's all happening simultaneously at the same time. There's a lady that lives in our apartments that's having a baby this week, their first child. There's someone I know whose father is in the hospital and his cancer's back and it's really bad. Someone else who's getting married in a couple of weeks. This life, it keeps going. And so I come back to the things that I have control of. Obviously, it's not my dog. You gonna lay down? Good girl. Good girl. And training her. 2, 4, 6, 8. And how that gives me a focus. And I'm not saying that's the only thing I have in my focus, but gives me a mission for my days. She needs a long walk every day. She needs to be outside, as do I, but I'm more willing to do it for her than I am for myself. Apparently, because I've never done this, sustained these kind of walks for this long in my life. But she's pretty darn special, and somehow I can see the benefit for her. And so that helps me to do it. So sometimes we do things for others that we're not willing to do for ourselves that are good for us all, I guess is what I'm saying. Nuance. That's going to be the name of this particular podcast, because I think there is so much nuance in life. So much paradox. 2, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. I brought water and tea. I was about to grab the water, but I don't want the water. I want the tea. Do y'all like tea? Since I've really been focused on cutting out sugar and other carby goodness, and not cutting it out forever in my life, but just mostly during the week, because I wasn't feeling well. I'm enjoying the teas. So that particular one is chocolate mint, which is really tasty. All right, before I show you my knitting project again, I want to tell you about this little bag of goodness. Let's consider this like an unboxing, shall we? Ooh, I wish you could smell it. I used to crack my coworkers up at Log Cabin Village because they were shocked that I enjoyed the smell of the wool so much, but I do. It is one of those very sensual, sounds like a weird word to use, but I love the senses. I love being in my body and having these capabilities, and smelling wool is at the very top of my list. So this wool is from Honeysuckle. It is a Leicester long wool, and I got this from Jennifer over at Zoozicles. And so I just wanted you to know about that. And I'm gonna pull out a few of these locks to show you. So when they're sheared off the sheep, you can see a shearing on my Instagram. I videoed it last fall and I shared it on Instagram, so you can see it there. But this is what the locks look like. So then I just take my little dog comb and it's called flicking the tips, T-I-P-S, flicking the tips. So you flick these ends and then it turns into this lovely, wonderful, fluffy goodness that you can spin. And I have been spinning mine on my supported spindle, and it's been more than soothing and relaxing and enjoyable, and feeling that need to be still and yet moving. It's filling that gap as I process and pray and make decisions on what I'll do to make this world a better place. So for me, that is knitting with my own hand spun. We have these sheep in our world, and we have their beautiful fleece, and if we as knitters and spinners aren't using it, it gets wasted. And I'm not only doing it for that reason, because my goodness, look how gorgeous that is. And the joy, again, a full-on sensory joy, the way it feels, the way it smells, the way it looks. I think once it's blocked, the way it drapes. I just love everything about this. So this particular pattern is by Petra Breakstone. She's on Instagram. She is a local designer. I've mentioned to her here before. She is hilarious. She's why I have my dog Sadie, because she's a little older and more mature than I am. And she said, get a puppy because they'll keep you young. And she was correct. I don't know if I'm young because of Sadie, but in spirit, Sadie has kept me young. Got me out there and got me walking and in the sunshine every day. So Petra has designed the C-H-I-A-R-A, pronounced Kira, wrap or vest. So you can look at my Instagram or Petra Stone's Instagram page, and she shows how it can be worn, and it is the most cleverest little thing. I just love it. I love her little moves she has when she's wearing it. She's so cute. So Miss Petra designed that, and that's what I'm working on with Honeysuckle the Fleece. And I want to tell you about Zoozicles is on the board for Texas Fleece and Fiber Fest, and that's coming up. Mark your calendars, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Who knows what the future holds? At this point in time, it's on the calendar. They have a big area where I believe everyone would be able to social distance. And I don't believe there are more than 200 people generally. who knows how this is going to play out. I just want to share the future dates. November 13th through 15th. So I am super excited about it and hopeful about it, because this is the first time I have ever officially sponsored a fiber festival. So I am the official sponsor. I will have a banner. I'll have a little area where you can come and we can chat, and I'm hoping that other podcasters will want to get together and let you meet them as well in Kerrville. So that'll be super fun. Love, love, love getting together with my fiber peeps. So that's coming up. Let's see, what else? What else? How much time? We're already at 15 minutes. Okay. Done, 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 done. First of all, before I pick up something else fibery, let me just point out, not this, I've already shown this. You see what this is right there? That? This is a hammer dulcimer. If you go through my YouTube videos, back to my very first YouTube I ever recorded for YouTube, you will see a much younger version of A Hopeful Holler Makes. And I was playing badly, but a beginner, as I still am, because I haven't practiced all these years, hardly at all, playing a hammer dulcimer. And this is an instrument I have wanted to learn how to play ever since I saw it. And I actually own 2 of them, and I've pulled them out this week and I tuned them, because the brevity of life, I guess, has really hit home again, and it seems to come in waves for me. For the most part, I feel like I do think about our life and how urgent it is that we live a full and abundant life on a daily basis. And I think with current events, it's just made it even more so. So for me, one of the things that I want in my life is to be able to play an accompaniment with any music that I'm listening to, like Blue October. So I would love to be able to listen to Blue October, the songs that I already know so well, and play an accompaniment to that. So not carrying the tune, but just as if I were playing a guitar and playing accompaniment with it. How many times can I say accompaniment? So this is a theory or method that someone I used to really enjoy a lot named Rich Mullins. That was the way he played, and he is actually how I first found out about the hammer dulcimer. I was obsessed with listening to Rich Mullins, my Rich Mullins CDs and tapes all the time. And he actually passed in September of 1998, 97. It was 1997, actually. And his music still touches my heart and guides my life, and just been thinking a lot about that beautiful, beautiful music. So that's why you see that instrument. And I set my timer for 30 minutes and I play, and I've started using some of my dog training methods to get myself up here to practice. So I really enjoy my cup of tea, so I'll get my cup of tea going, and then that sends off a cue that after my cup of tea at this particular time, then I'm gonna practice. So, and I've been practicing at the same time every day. So we'll see. I might get on here and play for you sometime in the near future. Again, all it is chords. That's all I'm doing. But we have to start somewhere, don't we? So I have never shown these before. These are embroidered little pieces. My plan was to do a whole series and make a little quilt, but I feel like I've been so scattered in so many different projects and wanting to make so many different things. I really want to be more focused on what I'm working on at the time. So for now, I've just hung these over here on this little fence piece so that I can look at them because I think they're just cute as is. But I think what I'll probably end up doing is sewing little borders around them and hanging them up like pictures. So they say basil and mint, and those are embroidery. And I always grow basil and mint. Even right now I have basil and mint outside. So those are special herbs for me that I really enjoy. So I want to show you a couple of things that I discussed on my Instagram. Playing with dye. Woohoo! Can you pick out what's naturally dyed and what's not? I bet you can. So these three, I think they're going to be beautiful in some color work. Those three, believe it or not, I used red cabbage with. Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about what I did wrong. I still quite haven't figured it out because I still am in that place of thinking, but I did it all right. If I did it all right, I would have achieved the desired outcome, in my opinion. So there's something I did wrong, which is a whole nother philosophical conversation. There's no right or wrong, but again, desired outcomes. I think it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I think it's very pretty, especially, sorry baby, especially this buttery, yellowy green. I think that came out real pretty. Oh, you know what? I said I used the red cabbage. No, I didn't. Okay, let me go back. Edit, edit, edit. You know what it is? This is the Queen Anne's lace. And it wasn't the color that I was looking for, but I do like it. They're all shades of a buttery, yellowy green. And I do like it. So I left those. This one was a purchased cream color superwash from a long time ago. This is hand spun Shetland on my spindle. And this is hand spun Rambouillet. So I like all those. These, on the other hand, these were the red cabbage and they came out horrible. So bad. Again, that same pukey color. So I whipped out the acid dye, and I don't know. I think, again, in color work, I'm not a super primary gal, but I was just trying different things. And these are all Rambouillet. So I'm not sure what I'll do with those. Thoughts, suggestions? Please comment below. Maybe I'll use them for weaving, which I actually haven't done a whole lot of this week because I've just been spinning and knitting and doing a lot of combing in preparation for this next weekend, which is Tour de Fleece. And I'm on the Hill Country Weavers team, which is super fun. Are y'all on a team? Are there any spinners out there? I know I have one sweet friend, Miss Julie. Hi. Have you been spinning? What have y'all been doing? Have you been trying new crafts? I feel kind of all over the place with the crafts in that I want to try new things. I want to practice things that maybe I had picked up at one time and haven't progressed as much as I would have liked. I've been listening to a lot of YouTube conversations and lectures about artists from history, specifically Van Gogh, John Ruskin, Morris, I forget his first name, Morris, the wallpaper guy. Poets, painters, artists, philosophers, and telling about historically what was going on with the Industrial Revolution at the time, which I've always been so fascinated with, like how people were treated during that time and since then. And oh, this is why I have to walk so much. So lots and lots of thoughts. I don't know why I keep looking to the side. I do actually, because I want to pick up my knitting and knit while I talk to you. That's why. But then I feel weird because I'm not looking you in the eyes as I would if we were having a conversation. Have y'all looked people in the eyes, you know, when you go to Walgreens or you have to go to the grocery store? Above your masks, are you connecting? I hope so. No, it can be uncomfortable. That's always been one of my favorite things, is to connect with people by looking at them in their eyes, kind of seeing how their soul's doing. When I worked at the Log Cabin Village, kids would come in and they would always be super chatty and excited after they got off the bus. And I would get up real close and I'd say, if you're not quiet, I'm going to stand right here and I'm not going to move. I'm going to look into your very soul until you stop talking. They would be like, okay, this lady's crazy. I'm not going to keep talking. But it was always a fun way to get my point across. They need to be quiet and listen to me. So, thank you for being so patient with my scattered podcast. I just thought, you know what? It is better to get on here and share than keep putting off what I want to do. So, here I am. About Blue October. So on July 25th, they will have a full concert that will be on Stage It. So it'll be all of the band together at one time, playing their beautiful music together. And I am super happy and thrilled to see it, even if it has to be on TV. We would have had already 2 concerts that have been missed, and I know that there are much bigger things going on in the world. But Blue October concerts are part of my therapeutic regimen, and I do miss them. So, if you would like to see what they're all about, again, that's coming up on Stage It. Justin continues to do the steps on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. His beautiful daughter was on Tuesday, and you can still see that. I'm about to go post it on my Instagram to share with everybody. It's unbelievable. Their story, their family story, and victory in having her live with them, and her enjoying her life living with them and exploring her gifts and talents is just a miracle for me to watch, and it's very encouraging and inspiring. She's 13 years old. She has a beautiful voice. She's a very talented young woman, beautiful on the inside and the outside. So I wish her the very best, and I'm so happy that that happened this last week. And I've just been taking in the parks every day, sharing my stories every morning, bits of mine and Sadie's walk, because I think it's really important to remember the blessings in our life, that no matter what's going on, what is real, what is consistent, and the things that change that we don't have any control over, like the weather. And it does. It changes minute by minute. But that we have the opportunity to breathe. So, with that, I wish you a happy weekend. Pick up your knitting. Remember, everything is better with wool and a podcast. And I thank you so much for joining me again. I know especially right now you have many places, maybe not so many places, many things that you could be occupying your time with, and I don't take it lightly that you would come and spend a few minutes watching A Hopeful Holler Makes. So thank you so much, and have a great weekend. Happy knitting and spinning and Blue October.